Greetings, friend! How are you doing today? I have two questions for you today. Two questions for you. First question. Have you ever used one of those discount systems? So, for instance, in the United States, there is something called Groupon, very popular discount system called Groupon, where usually they have a published price and then they have certain amount of discount, and sometimes the Groupon give discount as well, and therefore reducing the published price or of the published price in certain amount. Have you ever used a discount system like that? Whether it's Groupon or if you are in different location or something, it's different thing, but something similar. And the second questions I have for you. Would you think doing something like that where you are getting discount, and sometimes this is some 30-40% discount price, would you think that's a constrictive act? Or could it be an expensive and ungiving act? What would you think about that? I have this experience this week actually. I have a Groupon for a particular service, and I personally like using Groupon for a merchants, particularly a service merchant whom I've never interacted before. So I want to know their quality and so on and so forth. That's just me. Everybody has different opinions. Some people say, oh, you should never take advantage. So like for some people, this is taking advantage of people. And so I said, but I can see that. But I still like using Groupon. And so I have a Groupon with this merchant. And the merchants has good review, but at the same time, I've never have it before, so forth. And so I went in, I contacted the merchants, and the merchants actually did quite a wonderful job. He did quite a wonderful job. And I said, oh, okay. And then I started asking him these questions about, oh, what about this, and what about that, and what about this, and what about that. And he gave very honest answer. And he looked around, he said, well, you know what? I mean, you know, we can do these things if you really want to, but you really don't need this to be done. And this part, yes, it is good to get it done. You don't need it, but if we're gonna do everything, if we're gonna do this, that you already purchased, that yes, I think it's a really good idea to fix this part. And on the other hand, if this piece here, this is good to do. And this one, if you want to do it, I can see that we do it all at once. It's like, and that back area, that just, I mean, if you want to do it, sure. But I just to be honest, I'm not going to be able to make things look much nicer than it is already are. It's like you got everything just set up beautifully here. And I said, wow, okay, thank you for being honest here. Thank you for being such an honest person. And I said, okay, so if we do this that I bought with Groupon, and then I do this thing and I do this thing, would you be able to honor at least the Groupon price? Because otherwise it is some like 40% more. Something is like, okay, I'm not planning on investing that much at all at this moment. Wasn't that, but just in case. And he says, oh yeah, definitely. I'll definitely give a Groupon price, and I also give a little bit of that this work here, this extra work that just to make things. There's certain area that's stuck, and it's like just to make this part that is just work easier. And sure, I'll do this, and then I'll do the I'll throw in this extra, like a little bonus service here. And I said, oh wow, how wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? And some merchants actually increase price to put it on Groupon, and then and that's not, this is what these merchants do, because I could see from the website. This is the typical price. And so would you feel that I'm taking advantage? Or, and it's no right or wrong opinion, right? I just want to know your opinion. But to me, I said, oh, okay, well, this is wonderful. I didn't like say, hey, you must give me this group prize, but I just said, okay, in that scenario, you know what? I will purchase all this service. I will purchase all this service because it is actually significantly less than some of what other people, other merchants quoting me already. I said, I'll purchase all these things. It's like, okay, you want to do this and then we'll do this work and everything. I said, yes, absolutely. I will purchase all this and do this. And I see, I can trust that you're going to do the great job. And so I did that. And in a way that, and then at the end, because the purchase price is wonderfully discounted than what in typical price and what origin everybody else, many other people quoting, I was like, this person did such a great job. I just give a very, very generous tip. And he said at the end, he said, oh, you know what? Thank you so much. Thank you for trusting me and doing all this thing. With everything going on, business been really, really tough, particularly this month. And I'm so glad you're doing this. You basically saved me. And I was like, wow, I am so grateful. I just intuitively, I initially was going to do to go somewhere else's that costs more, by the way, and now to with somebody else that costs more. And I was like, oh my goodness, what a wonderful all-win way of him giving his service in his best possible way at the price that still feel good for him, since he wouldn't have done that if it doesn't feel good, particularly when I start saying, oh, you sounds like a great person. I can see that I can trust you, and if I do this, he could have easily said, oh, you know what? No, I'm gonna take advantage of this, and I'm gonna quoting higher price and see if she'll pay for that. If it's not, maybe I'll back down. And this very honest person didn't even do that. And even more, even though he was in, as he says, business been tough and money been tough. He didn't say, oh yeah, well, let's do this one too, and let's do that one too, just so he giving him more income. No. He give his honesty. He give his best possible service, his best possible way in being honest, saying, okay, this is, yes, I can see this need to get done, definitely. Hello. Oh, why are you waiting that long? And then this one is, yes, great to do. This is good to do. That's one part. Hello, that one is like, now you kind of like becoming a little obsessive here. And so it is, he's giving his honest, he's giving his best possible way, his best possible service, his best possible self in face of situation called business been really tough this month and probably barely making it to pay his bill, which is what he implies. And so it's so amazing, isn't it? We give in so many ways. This week we're talking about, you and I are sharing about giving. We talk about how Bob Proctor give in a logical way, and then there is the more expensive way, such much more expensive. How Les Brown give 1,000% of himself. He give 1,000% of himself. You listen to Les Brown, anybody can have the same script. Les Brown can do it because as you learn with him, you see he give his passion. He give 1,000%. And how would you give? How would you give if things been tough, just like with this merchant? Things been tough, and that's usually when we so wanted to throw back, and we're like, oh my God, I mean, bank account is dwindling down. Why would I even be giving? But what about if by giving the best possible thing you still possibly could, like this gentleman here, this service person, that it's actually bring you more. I immediately said, you know what, and in addition to that, I'm going to share about you. I'm going to share about you in the neighborhood, next door neighbor, something like that, in the neighborhood newsletter. I will write the recommendations for you, and absolutely 150% will refer people to him. And so, what is it? Think about some challenge that you have. Perhaps it is right now you are facing challenge, perhaps other time, and perhaps in the future. How would you be giving in face of challenge? It's easy to give when everything is handy dandy, beautiful and wonderful and everything else, and then there is giving in face of when there is challenge. There is still giving. How would you still be giving? Would you actually be giving even more? Because there is the saying, as we know it, it is when you give is when you receive. Just like with this gentleman. And who knows, a Groupon thing, a Groupon test service, a Groupon can actually be a wonderful giving exchange, instead of let me take advantage of discount. You can have your discount, who knows, you can have your discount, you can definitely have your discount, you can have thing at the price that you feel love and having so much fun and expensive investing, and still be very giving in a beautiful all-win way. And please share in the comment below your experience. Have you ever have experience, first of all, perhaps with Groupon or something else, and you encounter such an amazing merchant, or some other experience, and perhaps, and also share perhaps your giving, your giving. In which way have you been giving, or could you even, how could you up level? Because many times we can up level our giving, just even as Bob Proctor, as he was going along and was talking, and then he's like, oops, I can up level my giving in this way. And so how can you, and how can you, we all could, how can you perhaps up level or your giving regardless of circumstance, regardless of what your bank account, your particular situations, your this and that, just like with these wonderful merchants. And please share your feedback in the comment below. This is Birgit with From Giving to Joyful Living. I see that as you step into being a person of increase, giving even more, regardless of our circumstance, that you will be living in an even more abundance, joy, ease, fun, and peace of mind, and creating a lovely, amazing, thriving life one day at a time, and a magnificent, beautiful, thriving life as a whole. And I love you very, very much, and I look forward to see you again very, very soon.